Welcome back, one and all, to Trails to Azure. Went ahead and got a cart part for the Orbital car. You can buy those from the Orbital Superstore. And you can get it. There was a CPD paint job, which I'll probably end up getting later. Anyway, now I can rest at the car if I want. We gotta go up to the Rosenberg studio. I can't just drive up there. That's great. And everyone's got, you know, the new weapons, the properly upgraded ones at that. Right to remain vigilant, okay. I don't know what that was. Hey look, a moving truck. Thank you again, Meister. You've been a great help. But these were all set in the debut for the performance in a couple of days. Adios above, your troop is far too demanding with its requests, each and every one of them. Turning the automata would have been work enough, but designing an entirely new stage set on top of that. I'm a busy man, you know. I really do apologize for that. Ilya and the troop leader can have some pretty lofty standards sometimes. The extra mechanism you asked for to install was something they just couldn't live without. It doesn't matter now. I have no issue with lending my studio's expertise to service your plays. I'm sure the goddess would prefer it to the alternative. Thank you. Don't think of it, Meister. We haven't received your response to our invitations yet. Arkansas would be honored to have you attend the show. It'd be our pleasure after the amazing set and automata you provided us. Your money is thanks enough. I appreciate the gesture, but as I said, I am a busy man. Oh. I told them he wouldn't go for it. Still, I'd love for him to see his hard work is being used on the stage at least once. Wait, aren't you the SSS? You're the stage technician from Arkansas. Yep, the name's Hines. I'm in charge of the props and equipment. What are all y'all doing out here? Come to see the Meister? Something like that. We had a little matter we wanted to consult him about. Are you here to pick up a commission? Yeah, we had an order of automaton tune-up and a new set piece. It was kind of on short notice with the debut of the revival performance coming up, but he did us a real solid getting it done so quickly. Oh boy, let me tell you the truth. Everyone in the troop owes the Meister a Torum. Speaking of which, isn't the rival performance only a few days away? That's right, Ilya and the others are kicking into high gear right about now. Hell, I've been getting into it myself, what with the changes we made. Have you now? Sounds like you're all primed up to put that real box office hit. That's the idea, but whoops, I'm a little behind schedule. Gotta get up there and get all set up. See you guys later. Stop by and say hi to everyone when you get the chance. We'll be sure to do that. Be careful on your way back. The hell? Am I the only one out of the loop here? You're telling me that old-timer's the one behind the theater magic Arkansas's got going on? It appears that way. I could tell their wire flying technology was advanced, but I never came to the conclusion that it was organized from here. Well, at least we know the Meister is in right now. I'm not sure he'll be willing to tell us anything about the society, but we'll never know if we don't ask. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Hold on. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about quests expiring. Excuse us? Crossbell Police, Special Support Section. Miter Rosenberg, we'd like to have a word with you. There's no need to shout, my hearing is still perfectly fine. Whatever business you have must be very important if you come all this way. I don't have very much time to spare, but I will make an exception this once, as long as you keep things short. One of those creepy dolls. What? She's so cute. A Rosenberg doll. An automated one by the looks of it. Enter, the little one will guide you. See to it that you don't wander around where you aren't supposed to. I guess it can talk. Not that I was expecting it to. Get a load of this gal. Sure doesn't look like any machine I've ever seen. Mind taking us to where your master is, little miss? It has a lot of personality, that's for certain. I think we're supposed to follow her. Ouroboros, just what kind of enemy are we dealing with? A dangerous one. I wonder if this will be a dungeon later. Possibly. He's definitely affiliated with Ouroboros, and there's the Pater Matter. What is this place? It's incredible. The Rosenberg Studio. Whoa. Yeah, there's the thing that Ren would ride around on. Is that it? The giant archaism you mentioned before. Yes, Ren used it back at the Sun Fort. I believe she called it Pater Matter. So this is where it's been. The hell's this mechano crap doing down here anyway? I thought it was supposed to be a doll studio. I believe those terminals are connected to the Orbital network. This must have been where Kitty was remotely hacking the network. Well, what is it you want? Miter Jorg, thank you for allowing us to come in and speak with you. Is it Jorg or George? I think it'd be Jorg. We have a few questions we were hoping to ask. Would they? By any chance, could it be about Campanella? So you know. Do not misunderstand. You are correct that I have ties to the Society. In the end, however, I am nothing more than a humble doll maker. I am not directly involved with whatever grand scheme they have planned. So in other words, you can't tell us exactly what Campanella is plotting. I do not know, nor am I in any position to. However, you should understand that he is an enforcer, not an Anguis. He is not authorized to propose plans for the Society to pursue. The Anguis, rather, are those who draft such arrangements. Now hold on a minute. This is a little too much to take in all at once. He's a lieutenant, not a commander. Isn't this insider information? Should you really be giving it up so easily? It's hardly confidential. There are many on the continent who know of this already. The Church, the Guild, intelligence agencies of the major powers. Even that is only scratching the surface. The Society is widely known, yet you are still able to freely continue making dolls here. As I said, I am not in position to know all of the Society's inner workings. Take the Archaisms, for example. Their construction relies on technology from many other workshops besides this one. My studio is built one scale on that ever-coiling serpent. Which is why the Church and the Guild will have never set foot near without due cause. Suppose that makes sense. Someone like you is more valuable while you're still attached to the snake. Which makes you a handy source of information. Correct. That being said, this studio has already been preemptively outfitted for any contingency. Even should you break in the front door without an arrest warrant, all you would find is an empty and meager doll studio, Nothing more. Not even the pater matter. Well, would you like to try your hand at taking me into custody, having heard all that? You may not have another chance. No, that's not why we're here. You made your point. We'd like to inquire further if you're willing to answer. I guess that's all we can do, but it doesn't mean I like it. A wise decision. I take it you'd like to know something more concrete than veiled statements and broad outlines. Narrow your questions down to 3, and I will answer them if I can. Fair enough. Who is this Anguis we're dealing with? Georg Weissman, Arianrod, and that creepy hook-nosed guy we saw earlier. The others are shrouded in mystery. They are the 7 Snake Apostles who live and serve to realize the Grandmaster's plans. Even I do not know all of their identities. Well, that one there in the front with the glasses, actually looking like a smug prick, he's dead. Kevin Graham saw to that. However, I'm aware of the Anguis that will be arriving here in Crossbell before long. Is there any way you can tell us more about them? One is a man, the 6th Anguis to be precise. He leads the 13 factories that compromises Ouroboros' technological network. He is the Society's greatest theoretician, an engineer with an insatiable appetite. Needless to say, he is a contemptible man. You clearly have a high opinion of him. Just how contemptible are we talking? He is the sort of man who cares for nothing but satisfying his own curiosity. I am unsure what he hopes to achieve by coming to this land in person. But I can say this for certain. His arrival is anything but good news for Crossbell. We'll take your word for it. He will not be alone. The 7th Anguis, the Steel Maiden, will also be coming to Crossbell. The Steel Maiden. That's got one ominous ring to it. She is an enigma, to say the least. Briefly put, she is a masterful warrior whom have no hope of defeating, even if you were to face her all at once. She's that strong. Trying to wingman your fellow conspirators, I see. It is merely a word of warning. Unlike the 6th Anguis, I've heard the 7th Anguis is a virtuous individual. However, were you to face her unprepared, it would surely cost you your lives. And what about their grand scheme? What exactly are they plotting? As I've already told you, I am not familiar with the details. From what little I've heard in passing, however, I do know what it is called. The Phantasmal Blaze. Phantasmal Blaze. There's a name rife with symbolism. This plan, does it entail causing some sort of widespread incident in Crossbell like the one in Liberl last year? That can't be. There's no way we could let that happen. Stop making me repeat myself. I don't know the details. What I can tell you is that the Society's intervention here pales in comparison to what happened in Liberl. The Society prefers to operate from the shadows above all else. They aren't the type to make their move on the surface. Not often, anyway. Was that supposed to make me feel better? Because it sure as hell ain't working. Seconded. The fact you can give us nothing but a name makes whatever they're doing all the more suspect. How are they connected to the cult? The D therefore G cult. As far as I know, the two sides never had any direct ties. Having said that, it is a fact that the Society was the one who destroyed the lodge where Ren was being held. What? You're referring to Paradise. Yes, my understanding is that the cult used it to lure in and exploit influential individuals from all around the continent. In all likelihood, it was brought down because it began to target influential individuals the Society was backing. It's nothing short of a miracle that Ren survived. Yeah, especially when you know what was going on in there. Simply put, it wasn't like the lodge Tio was in, where it was some form of experiment to enhance a person's abilities. No, it was used for blackmail. to have leverage over political officials. It's basically this world's equivalent to Epstein Island. Yikes! Doesn't even begin to fucking cover it. That hellhole deserved to get wiped out, but it's not like it makes Ouroboros the good guys either. I hope you didn't expect that explanation to win us over. As I said, I am only telling you what I know. Take it how you will. Well, that's all we've got. Well, that makes 3 questions. You've taken up enough of my time. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave now. But, Lloyd... Fine, that's what we agreed to, so we'll just be going for now. Would you mind if we return for another one of these talks? If I feel so inclined. Keep the following in mind. It is not only Ouroboros that you should have your sights on. There are other forces to be cautious in the wake of Crossbell's bid for independence. I guess so. Man's got a point. Sounds like you probably know a thing or 3 about that, too. Maybe so. Maybe not. Off you go. Follow the little one like you did before. If you wander off, I cannot guarantee your safety. Well, he was transparent, if nothing else. I feel like I just came out of a bad dream. The phantasmal blaze, and the 2 Anguists making their way to Crossbell to enact it. It's so fantastical, I can barely bring myself to believe it. Just how dangerous are they? Very. From what I've heard about Liberl, very. We can't take the threat they pose lightly. Still, if what the Meister told us is true, whatever they're planning in Crossbell isn't as extensive as it was in Liberl. That'd be a relief. I hear they had an enormous battleship to contend with. Not to mention that giant archaism, Patermatter. Where did you get that information? The 1st Division has it all labeled classified. Don't tell me you hear about these kinds of things while working as a host. My lips are sealed. Look here, fruitcake! I am sick of you hiding shit. Tell me what you know, you fucking fruitcake. Something wrong with you two? Well, a little bit. Teotop might be able to explain it better than I could. You mind? I will make an attempt. Having seen the automaton that guided us in and out of that studio, it's become clear the Society is far more mischievous than they are malevolent. Mischievous. Yes, they have more technological prowess than both the Epstein Foundation and Zeiss Central factories combined, yet squander it by choice. Considering the research necessary to develop Patermatter, it would be far more practical to use those as the same resources to build 50 airships. You think so? Perhaps they have a source of funding, one deeper than we realize. Maybe, but whether you're an army or a crime syndicate, efficiency is typically the highest point of organization. Recreation typically doesn't have much of a place there, if at all, but Ouroboros turns all of it right on its head. That makes their motives and rationale all the more baffling. Took the words right out of my mouth. The thing about it is, no matter how many Anguists or archaisms they've got hiding up their sleeves, the Red Constellation and Heyue are probably more of an actual threat, realistically speaking. And that even taking into account whether the Empire or the Republic are up to. True. Put all 4 of them into one autonomous state together, and you've got a disaster waiting to happen. This kitchen already has too many cooks without the Society. The big question is, what do they plan to bring to the table? Who's to say? Even backing the terrorists at the trade conference was allegedly on a complete whim on their part. They don't seem to have any interest in involving themselves with conventional power struggles. In that case, would that make what they are working toward as unconventional as everything else they do? That would mean they're completely in over our heads. All we can say for sure is whatever it is, it can't be good. At any rate, we should return home for now. I want to relay this information to the Chief and CGF. Regardless of what the Society is after, the least we can do is make sure we're ready for them. Agreed. Good call. Back to the city we go. Which means there's probably going to be some trouble waiting for me back in town. Green herb. I'm curious, can I do any cooking? Randy likes these noodles. Heavenly noodles. Peddler noodles. Headsman noodles. Cool. I'll keep Noel in the party for now, why not? Well, no, I wanted to try out the new combination attack, so... That was with Wazzy and Randy, so... But I want to try it out on an actual threat. My Enigma. Who could that be? I get the feeling someone's in need of our services. Special Support Section, Lloyd Bannings. Thank goodness I finally got a hold of you. You've been trying to contact me for a while? I have, but for some reason none of my calls were able to get through. I even tried everyone else's Enigmas, but they were a total no-go. There must have been an orbital wave jammer in the basement of that studio. Sorry about that, we ended up wandering out of signal range. What's going on? Do you have any urgent requests for us? No, not quite. Half an hour ago, there was a train derailment on the West Crossbell Highway. What? Are you serious? I wish I wasn't. The 2nd Division is en route and investigating the scene. The CGF is on their way too. There's probably no need for you to go, but I figured I should keep you guys in the loop. Got it. Thanks for telling us. If you find out more, let me know. Roger. Is something the matter? Did Fran have something important to tell us? Well, there was a train derailment on the West Highway. What the hell? A derailment? It just went off the tracks? Yeah, Fran said the 2nd Division and CGF are on their way there, so we can probably leave it to them. Then again, it would be hard to turn away from something that's so concerning. Well, let's go check. Let's go take a look. The orbital car can go straight to the derailment site. Oof, that's not a good. Are those ambulances just now? Correct. All of them registered to St. Ursula. There were 3 of them too. Damn. Do you suppose they were transporting those who were injured from the derailment? Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Cecil and the rest of the hospital are going to have a long day ahead of them. We should get to the scene of the accident. Roger. Those buses just now. They look like the ones used to carry people traveling to and from the Republic. They must be transporting the rest of the passengers that were on the train. Makes me wonder how extensive the scale of this accident is. Well, let's go check it out. Oh, Lloyd, you guys made it. Hey, Fran, so you're on the case too. Hello there, Noel, Randy, thank you both for coming. Of course, good to see you, Dahlia. Looks like we're in the right place. What's the situation? Commander Bales and the police are currently investigating the scene of the accident. Inspector Donovan and Detective Raymond from the 2nd Division are leading our department's efforts. From what I can tell, it looked like a mess. The train went clean off the tracks. It's going to be a long time to get things cleaned up and repaired. And the passengers? No fatalities, thank the goddess, but a few are in critical condition. Though most in need of medical attention were carried away by ambulance a little while ago. Yeah, we saw them on the way here. And the other passengers, they were transferred to buses for the remainder of their trip? Yeah. There was one round of them arranged for passengers headed for Crossbell and another going to Altair. I can imagine. It's not every day you have to do damage control for an accident this severe. Speaking of which, we should make our way down to see the scene ourselves. Can we pass through? Yeah, you should be able to. I doubt anybody's going to complain. Feel free to head in whenever you're ready. Oh, and now I'm going to be able to go down that blocked path. I was wondering when that was going to happen. Oh no. Yeah, that's a hell of a derailment. That's a fucked up train. And of course Grace is on the scene. Oh boy, this is some accident we've got on our hands. Do you know what caused the derailment yet? No. As you can see, the investigation is still underway. The current working theory is that the front car was derailed due to a fallen rock on the track, and the rest just followed suit. My apologies, but I'm going to have to insist that any members of the media leave the accident site for the time being. We need to focus on beginning the cleanup and repair efforts immediately. Seriously? Commander Bales? I understand that the police would like to prioritize the investigation. However, this is a transcontinental railroad we're standing on, the most important transit line on all of Zumeria. We're under pressure from Mayor Croyce, the Imperial and Republican governments, and the railroad cooperation to fix this as soon as possible. The CGF have no choice but to comply. I get your logic, ma'am, I really do. But I'm with the detective. If we don't get to the bottom of what happened here, it could happen again. I'm aware, however, I can only permit that the investigation be carried out concurrently alongside the repairs, which will be until this evening at the very latest. That is how long we've been given. The heavy machinery we've requisitioned will be arriving soon. We need to. Wait just a damn minute! SSS. Whoa, Lloyd and the gang. You guys came to scope out the scene, huh? Please excuse us, Commander. But did we hear you correctly? You are going to start cleaning up the accident before a proper investigation can be made. You're still a member of the CGF, Seeker. I trust you haven't forgotten how vital this line is to Crossbell. I didn't want to put this so bluntly, but if we delay repairing the railroad, it'll give the Empire and Republic all the excuse they need to intervene. I know that! It's far from an unlikely scenario, unfortunately. Not much I can do to protest against an argument like that. Give me a break. We still have a duty to get to the bottom of this mess. Commander Bales, give us just 30 minutes. No, until the equipment arrives. We'll get to this all so we can get this sorted out. You. Yes, given Crossbell's current political climate, I'm not ready to chalk this accident up to just an unfortunate coincidence. Don't you think we should at least determine whether there was any foul play? It is also possible that this accident is relevant to our cryptid investigation. Look at it this way. You let us do our thing, and everyone walks away with a little peace of mind. I never thought I'd see the day that I would be the impatient one between the two of us, Orlando. Very well, Inspector Donovan. We will start by prioritizing the investigation of the accident. Once the equipment arrives, however, our focus will shift to the rails. You won't hear any complaints from us. Let's do it. And we'll just stay out of your hair while you get all this while we collect our material. I have no objections. You are free to look around until the formal repairs begin. On the condition that you in no way interfere with the investigation of the site. Am I clear? Crystal. Would you mind if we got a first-hand look at the scene as well, Inspector? Don't even ask. We'll tackle it together. You should speak with the conductor. He's resting there. He'll be our best bet. More likely than not. Unfortunately, the engineer got nicked up in the crash and has been taken to the hospital. Understood. There he is. What a day. I should be thanking the goddess I'm okay, at least, compared to the poor people who got carted away in ambulances. I've never seen a train fly off the track so violently before. So you're the conductor, right? If you wouldn't mind, would you give us your account of what happened at the time of the derailment? Sure, here's what I know. I'll do my best to tell you what happened. The detective over there asked me earlier, but I think I was still too shaken to give a halfway decent statement. It all happened so suddenly, you know? I couldn't help but being a little out of it. It's perfectly understandable with how severe the accident is. We can't expect you to have recalled every little thing. Any normal person would be in shock after going through something like that. Exactly. As things stand, even the tiniest detail could prove helpful. Do you remember seeing or hearing anything suspicious? Well, maybe. Something on your mind? It was right before the derailment happened, while I was on the comms with the engineer. He just started yelling out of nowhere. I remember him shouting, "What is that?" or something along those lines. The accident happened moments later. The front car derailed and the rest of them followed one after another. And then you know the story. It goes from there. Now I'm out here talking to you. Evidently, the engineer was caught by surprise. From the sound of it, he must have seen something that he couldn't believe. Which leaves us with one question. What was it that he spotted? We'll have to ask him directly. What else is there to... and up right here. What do you suppose happened here? You're thinking a rock may have rolled down a nearby cliff and derailed the train. Maybe that's what made this impact? The possibility is there given the spherical dent on the side. I don't know about that. How do you explain the giant scratches here in the center then? Do you think it happened in the position... Do you think... when you think about that, the position's a lot farther up than you'd expect, too. I don't think a simple fallen rock could have left marks like these. Look at these marks along the cliff sides, they're enormous. Looks like the whole surface has been carved into. Parts of the ground too have been gorged out as well. The train must have derailed toward the left-hand side. Quick question. Why do you suppose these streaks on the wall are so blue? I believe those would be flecks of paint. It's got the same color as the train cars themselves. After the train derailed, it must have been scraped against the rock a ways before leaving the blue skid mark. No doubt about it. Look how far along they run. How would a train even stay against the wall for that long? Looks like I might have to rethink the actual circumstances that led to these marks. I'm not sure what else to look for. Up right here. This would be the locomotive, the most essential car in the train. Without one, it won't be able to move at all. Inside the engineer's cab and the orbital engine produced by the Reinford Company. That's all very educational and all, but doesn't something about this seem off to you? Was thinking the same thing. That's not nearly as much damage on it as I would have pictured. You're right, it looks a little unnatural, considering it's the frontmost car. Think about it. Had it collided with something head-on, it wouldn't still be in this prime. Whatever caused the derailment must have hit something somewhere else. It had better be enough for him, because I sure as hell haven't been connecting any dots. I may have put a thing or two together on my end. What's the next step? Should we review the information thus far? Yeah. So our investigation yielded anything useful? That's the hope. First, I want to address the possibility of this derailment being caused by a fallen rock on the trains. From our investigation, I believe it's safe to rule out that possibility. Why? I take it you have some line of reasoning to back that up? Naturally, you see. The engineer's cry. The engineer could have been yelling precisely because he saw a fallen rock on the train's path. Logically, if the derailment were caused by a fallen rock on the tracks, the train would have collided with it head-on. For the mass of a high-speed train to lose balance and derail, the impact would have been substantial. If that had really happened, then the evidence of it would be more apparent. I think I get it. There's also the point of, where's the rock? All that said and done, the front of the first car is hardly dinged up at all. So that rules out the initial and most obvious explanation. Indeed it does. This is a fact we can't afford to overlook. Explosive? You're saying that this could have been done by a Jaeger operation, or worse, a terrorist group. I'll admit, my mind wandered there pretty quickly too. That's why I kept my eyes peeled, but as far as I could tell, there weren't any traces of explosives. I would hope not. We've already accounted for that, and we didn't find anything of that sort either. So after ruling that out, there's only one possible left. There was indeed a collision, but not from the front. Whatever rammed itself was on the right-hand side. Excuse me? There's a giant fucking dent on there. Yeah. First, our unknown culprit landed right next to the train as it barreled down the track at full speed. That was likely the moment the conductor heard the engineer yelling on the comms. After that, the assailant began to run alongside the train before ramming it from the right, causing the dent, which the force led the leading locomotive to derail toward the left-hand side and scratch the shit out of the train paint. As for the cars following behind, they ended up scratching on the rails in every direction. That's my working hypothesis, given what we know right now. Well done. You really are Guy's little brother. You know, hell, your sleuthing skills may even be better than his. No kidding, Guy's style of investigating was less thorough and more instinctive. We're proud to have him. Kudos. Oh, wise leader. Even I couldn't think that far ahead. Very impressive. But it does leave one question, Bannings. The identity of this unknown culprit. Do you suspect this is the work of some sort of monster? It would have to be. Or perhaps it was caused by another one of those recently spotted cryptids. That's also a possibility. Well, when you look at the facts, it's a likely conclusion. I would think so. A cryptid would definitely have the strength to derail a running train, in our experience. The most natural conclusion is that it was a cryptid of a considerable size. I'm not as certain, Lloyd. Cryptids have been spawning in the presence of the higher elements thus far, and I sense no sign of them. You're right, that slipped my mind. On that note, I've not seen any of that blue phora from yesterday's report blooming in the area either. Which only further begs the question of just what is it we're dealing with? The Society's Archasms are a possible candidate too, though I'm not sure how likely that is. Are they the type to resort to such a drastic and blatant attack? What the hell was that? Distance, 10 sledge and moving. It's escaping to the west. You wouldn't happen to be planning to come along with us, would you? Well, I can't deny that I was considering it, but I get it. The situation gets stickier than usual, so I'll hang back this time. For now, we'll head back to Crossbell City and draft up a breaking report. As soon as we get the rest of our people, we'll return to gathering some more material. We'll be doing that next time on Trails to Azure. Join me then as I go fight a big ugly monster. But until then, I'm the Dark Seraph, signing off.